Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to PRODESIGN. After a very long while and after several requests, this is finally done. A studio interior design, a tutorial explaining everything, the very important process uh, through which this was done and was made. So, I'm gonna be um, taking us through steps and guides through which you can also produce even something better than what has been produced here. So you can see these renderings. We're going to go through the step of modeling, sketching and everything. So the first thing we started with was to sketch with Adobe Photoshop. You might choose to sketch with your paper and pen. It's not a big deal at all, but just to show to you just the brief of what we are going into on Sketchup. But now, so pick our brush tool just to sketch this space. It's very simple and straightforward. It's a studio apartment, and it has just two main spaces. We have the living area demarcated by a TV shelf, and the kitchen area. So the kitchen doubles as the dining with the island and some chairs as well. So it's just basic. So at some point I'm gonna be playing instrumentals. If I feel there's no much to be explained at that point, I'm just gonna tune in to instrumental. So just bear with me. This is gonna be a long journey for us, but it's also a very productive one. So now on the SketchUp interface, the first thing is just to to start with our framework. Our framework has our walls, demarcation of faces for us to extrude, doorways, and the floor, the windows, the ceiling, and then the modeling of everything that was modeled. So now just demarcating the floors here. So this is just to demarcate the floors, the dimensions according to the sketch that was made. So that's one of the very important tip that I'm gonna give you here. I'm gonna share with us regarding this video and regarding whatever you're gonna be producing afterwards. So it's very important to have a sketch, to do your research. Go on Pinterest, go on Google, go on websites, architectural firms, check great designs, so that when you design, you won't be designing what does not appeal to anybody, So you actually design something that is appealing, something that is realistic, and something that actually is sensible, something that appeals to the imaginative instinct of almost everyone, So just creating this model using the basic tools that we've talked about. So I'm gonna drop a link or drop links to some videos that we've done dealing with basic tools, the select, the eraser, the lines, the push pull, how to move and to copy as I'm doing here. So this is just to separate the floors and to create a ceiling. So I use a lot of time I use my floor area if there's no major change in the ceiling. So I just copy it and then just do some little adjustments. So this is what you're seeing here. So now we proceed to the interior, and make sure you make group what you do, whatever component you're creating. It's very key, and it will save you a lot of future stress if you make group. So just right click on that model, double click on it, then right click and make it. I know how much trouble it can actually get. SketchUp users if you don't group, so please make sure you group so that you have your work more organized. So here we're modeling the shelf. So this is the shelf that's going to separate the living area from the kitchen area. So it's just the basic push pull tool, guys. Just follow everything. So here I'm just copying lines to demarcate faces so that I can separately deal with different spaces. I can separately push and pull different faces as I will. So it's up to you to decide what you actually want to do with these basic tools. So here, this is, I'll use offsets here to create the frame, then just push inside. So can you see? So it's actually the more you practice, the more you grow in doing this. So now the shelf platforms, I've just used the division to the division array. So there's the link I'm going to drop, it deals with the division array, the multiplication array. So array in general, you see how it was treated there. So another tip while modeling whatever you've embarked upon is that try as much as possible not to run away from some little unnecessary details. So like the gaps in between the shelf, you see shelves in real time. You have this gap separating each frames from the other. So that's the base. So just demarcating, then pushing to cut it off or to create a space there. Just moved that face up, and so we can see it's just very basic, guys. It's just very basic. Just very basic. So here I want to separate this face so that I can separately create an offset here. So I can push inside to create a space for our stereo. So where stereo will be, and then here I love lighting. I love lighting displays in shelves and the like. So I'm just having a little push to allow for fluorescent or an emissive surface there. We are having it little by little. Now the next thing is to create a floor and create the thickness of the floor. Just try as much as possible to simulate your enclosure rightfully. It goes a long way to actually define realism in your model, in your visualization. So it's not you learn how not to rush through. Even if you would rush, don't rush through the details. Rush through, just work on your speed, but don't rush what you have in mind to communicate. It goes a long way. So here this is the kitchen cabinet. And the here we have to fix this. Let's fix this. Now the kitchen cabinet also the same way we modeled our shelf. Just make sure you do your research or check through the ones you like or the ones you've drawn, you've imagined. If you are familiar with furniture, you just have to, as an interior visualizer or as a designer, an architect, you just have to get yourself familiar with all these little details. So now, like I said, you have to be fast. You see, this is actually me working normally. What you're seeing here is just a normal workflow, so that we all get to follow in the steps and get to know what we need to know without missing anything. You see, I have to demarcate that line in order to be able to push that face up. There's something we need to do here. This can't be. Need to figure this out. Let me undo that. Oh yeah, that means the ceiling is gonna come down a bit so that it can rhyme with. So then the shelf will need to change. Drop a bit. So yeah, I think so. Now create the tile surface here, and then the cabinet frames. So firstly, copy these lines to demarcate the numbers of division we desire. The same thing for the lower part as well. Okay, because of the base now, and push a bit inside. Now gonna create our gaps. Like I said, let's just say 2 mm, making not 1 mm, 1 millimeters, 1 mm, so that's 2 millimeters. And then we extrude. The same thing here too as well, but in this case we're going to use the offset tools so quickly. And then what I did was to double tap. Once I used the offset tool once, then just double tap the same way we use our push and pull tool as well. So we need to create our our heat extractor here. So this is what I did before embarking on this small project, as it were. I went on Google, Pinterest, and then I researched as brief as possible, on the basic things I'm gonna be modeling here. So and that's what I do for all my interior designs and even my exterior visualization. So I encourage you to also do likewise, because it will actually help to boost the confidence in whatever you produce. Whatever your model or your renderings are, it must communicate confidence. It must communicate your mind, even in your absence. So that's just the sense of you researching. Then also it will build your confidence in building whatever you want to build. Now we're making the countertop. Need to centralize this. So picking it at the center, then dragging to snap with this, the center of the whole length. So that's what was done. So now we need to model the island. The first thing I did there was to make group. Please learn to make your models, no matter how little the component is, make it a group. Sometimes we get so deep into the work and we forget that we've not really made some things group. We've not really grouped some of our work. So please just try as much as possible to group your work. So here, okay, now the same thing, I'm going to divide the face of this to create our frames. I'm offsetting so then extruding, scaling that till I get what suits me. So now we want to create our windows. So you can either create some of these models if you have something specific you want to actually drive out of what you're creating, or just go to any any of the platforms that we've discussed in one of our videos. I've also dropped a link to this video about how to get incredible models, even Vray ready models on some of these platforms. I've dropped the link, just check it out. Very brief and it's very informative and helpful. So just try as much as possible. You can get your windows, no need to stress yourself, but this is just to establish the fact that you can do a lot. You can do a lot even within the shortest possible time on SketchUp, and also to show you some basic modeling skills here. So here you see I'm not using the scale tool, I'm just dragging a whole part of the model. It's very reliable to give you uniform scaling of or reduction of the length without tampering with the overall proportion of your model. So now it's the what's next is to set our scene. Once you've got a little bit of your frame ready, just create your scenes, so that you have a feel of what you're doing already. You see, I downloaded this from some of these websites that was discussed. In this in that tutorial I discuss into detail how you can actually select. It's not rocket science, guys. You can actually know how to select wonderful models for your, for you to use in your project. So I've explained everything, where to go, the websites to go. So just feel free, just click on the link and voila, you're there. So here now I want to create a backdrop for the living. I love wooden stripes. I just love running lines. I love verticality. So that's just me. So yeah, I'm actually still using the array tool. So just follow the link I'm gonna share on this video. Please, they are very important. You can always check what you need to explain more or to go into details. This is just to actually give us an overview of how this was created, and that it's not something you cannot create, it's something you can even do better with. So just creating the lighting, just a simple spotlight here. Can you see just demarcating surfaces, then extruding, pushing, pull, copying. So once once you just master this, you have no problem at all. So basically we have our lights. Let's have the same thing at the kitchen area as well. And also the walkway, aligning it to So I guess we're almost heading to the texture. So we are on the Vray editor, the Vray asset editor, and I know this is where a lot of us will be very, very interested, and please, we need to pay close attention to that. So here you have a bunch of Vray ready materials for you, installed with the Vray asset editor. So all you just need to do is to assign those textures and tweak as you'd love it. So let's just assign the Vray ready texture. Just right click on the texture you want, then add to selection. So you would have selected the surface, then right click, then add to selection. So very simple as that. You don't need to stress yourself. You don't need to all you need to do is just click on the material, then right click, then add to selection. So here the wooden, then you can come to the material, edit here, and then change the scale. So very simple. There's no magic here. It's just simple. But some things that I do to ease my work is sometimes I just assign but because if you don't assign a material to a surface, it won't show on the Vray edit asset editor. So what I do is I just assign random materials that are not the same to different surfaces that I want. So I just use any of it. You can use them just once you know. For instance, this chef I've assigned a wine color to that, but once I got it displayed on the asset editor, I changed and I edited it to what I wanted. So it is very simple as that, guys. You can just assign materials. At first don't care, just assign the materials, then knowing that when you get to the Vray asset editor, you're gonna tweak it as you deem fit. So just take it slow, guys. Take it steady, but do not rush. You don't rush visualization. You don't rush. You can rush in the process of model, but don't rush what place your idea. Make sure your idea is intact. Your imagination, what you have at art, make sure it is intact. You get what I'm saying? I don't know how to really explain better, but you'll be fast in model. That's actually the best. You need to really learn how to be fast with how you model, but what you have at art, just make sure it is intact, it's not rushed. So I've got some PBR materials, PBR textures. I'm gonna do a short video to explain what PBR textures are and where you can actually get it for free. PBR textures are wonderful. In fact, if you have a PBR texture, you have nothing to worry about. You don't need to set anything at all. You don't need to set your reflection. It has been done in such a way that all you need to do is just insert each part into the material space, and then you have the accurate setup of the physics. When you say physics, it means the characteristics of a surface of any material. So for instance, a wood, the way you simulate or you represent a wood material is different from the way you represent a chrome material. So that's what PBR texture is. So here you can see I'm setting my camera, and that's where you start to bring in light. Very simple, just bring your plain light and align it with your window, scale it, and then let's check again. You see it's coming alive, and here we are getting a very fantastic result. I'm setting my scenes to see which one would actually go with what I have in my mind. I'm using some preset. You can customize your space, you can customize your camera view, the dimension and all. So now let's give it 50. Let's up it up to 50 and give it a sky blue feel so that it simulates the real environment, and you can see it's coming out very, very well. So now let's edit our cabinet, our TV shelf. You see the reflect, it's just tone it up a bit, and then the reflection glossiness. That reflection glossiness is like you are blurring your reflection a bit. It's not reflecting like a plastic or a glass, but it's reflecting just like a subtle reflection. So you have your reflection glossiness to control how reflective the surface is. So very simple as that. So it's just the basic then the bump map. If you notice, each of these parameters has almost all of them has a space to insert materials from your file folders and all. So those what it does is the computer simulates the characteristics of that parameter using your file or the image texture that you've placed there. But most of the time, if you don't really know how to do that, just don't dabble into that, because it might actually slow you down. So if you're not really good at what understanding that yet, please don't go in yet. Just toggle and then learn as you work. Keep learning, and then I know one day you'll be able to do it even more than this. You'll be so great in it, and then you'll be able to create wonderful and great models than this in no time. So this also have, let's say, 0.85 for the reflection glossiness for our tire. I think we are getting close to what we're looking for. To now, let's place some light here. Let's apply an emissive texture. So in many cases, after applying your emissive texture to any surface, you will still need to bring in a Vray light object. To amplify the lighting, as it ought to be. You see, we'll start to see light as it ought to be here now. Can you see? We can start to feel the light the moment we placed our Vray lighting object rather there. So the same thing we'll do with the ceiling above the shelf. So still finding the right view to capture the moment, The moment you have that view that intrigues you, just set it straight. Don't waste your time. Just capture that scene straight away. So still on texture, I'm ungrouping this so that we have it all as a group. I just apply, like I said, I'm applying just a random texture that I can edit the way I want on my asset editor. So we have this. I'm gonna just switch this to another color, something light, and some reflection. So quickly, we want to get a tile, like a marble tile. I'm going into my Sketchup Texture Club account, then go to texture. You can create this for free. I'm using this for free now. I've not subscribed, so you can also get all this amazing stuff for free. Go to marble, and then I need something cool. Let me search. and yeah, something like this, then you download. It comes in a zipped file, so you can always unzip to wherever you want, just gonna unzip them here. Let me unzip here into a folder. It's good to learn how to organize your works very well so that you don't get confused along the line. So now we have our marble slab. So this is where I want to apply the marble slab, and I just apply a random texture. Like I said, I just apply a random texture, which I'm gonna still change. See what I did? I just replaced it with my marble texture, and then you can tweak the size to fit what you have in mind. So I think we are okay with this. Just give it a subtle reflection. Let's tweak the lightness. So you can also wrap in textures, wrap in parameters. That's an advanced texture, an advanced art of texturing. So we'll still get there later. I want to bring in an IES light. So you see how an IES light can actually add life into your interiors. I know we've been seeing the preview of our rendering before now, so we'll still do another preview and then we'll see what a wonderful change we have here. Can we see? So we have our IES light now. Because I placed it in one of the components, it has automatically appeared in all other components that are alike, because every component is like they work in connection with each other. So whatever you do on one is applicable to the rest of it. Even if there are 10,000 of them, it's applied to the 10,000. So it's these are the few ways in which you work smart with SketchUp. So you work in order to save your time, to save yourself stress. So that's that. So I downloaded most of these models that are great, very ready models from these sites that I informed you earlier while starting this video. The link is actually down this video. Just go check them out. They are great, tons of them out there you can use. In fact, all you need to do is just to set your reflection, and that is all. They are great, already there for you, very ready for you. The materials are there. You can even extract wonderful materials from these components, and I explained the details of how you can download them on in those videos. So just try and get the video and watch it. So it's very simple, guys. So now what I've done here is to scale this light, and now we see we have this so the glass, everything is set, but I don't want it to be a glass material. I want it to be like a ceramic material for the bulbs, for the bulb container. I don't want it to be glass. So see how I change this now. So the reflective color now Now the refraction, I'm turning it off. So now we can see the change. So I turned the refraction off by using the black color mode for the refraction, and we can see we have what I wanted and what I envisioned. So now let's bring in another downloaded model, that's the curtain. So we have the curtain. I also downloaded this curtain in one of the sites that I mentioned in the video link I'm dropping. So it will help us a lot. Let's just watch them. It's very, very important. So there's one very intriguing thing about SketchUp and SketchUp models. No matter how far no matter from where you've gotten them, you can still edit, you can tweak it to your taste. And we see I've deleted some stuff I don't really like, and I don't think I need. So you can go ahead and feel free to edit models, add to them, and do your thing. So now we have this curtain, and just going to scale to a desired width, and then so there's a folder that usually come with some of these components from where you've downloaded them. This folder contains texture. So, and the textures have been separated. Some of them you see B. The B represent bump. You see R at the end of the naming of some particular texture in their folders. They represent reflection. So those textures, as they are, you are going to be placing them into the texture slot of each of the corresponding parameter. So very simple as that. So the refractive index, they are different. Of this curtain, I use around 1.2, 1.1, depending on what seems okay to you. Like I said, I'm applying a random texture, which I'm going to turn everything to black now. So very simple. Then give it reflection. So I know this stuff I'm doing here, there are things you normally have been doing, and some of us are even experts, even seeing these as, oh, what I'm doing is what you can do, even do it way better. I respect everyone that that is watching this, and that's the reason why I'm sharing my thoughts, sharing how I do my stuff here, so that it can actually help someone. You go a long way to help someone if you can go and follow the steps of the process. So here, I'm scaling this so that we can fit our refrigerator. I still need to scale that a little bit. Be careful so you don't overscale or scale your work beyond recognition. Sometimes you scale some models and then you check them and you see that they are not really looking like what you envision them to look like. So now it's not good for the top of our refrigerator to just be like that. I feel it's not too good. So I'm extending my cabinet over that, and then this will give it a sense of space. You don't just leave your space. As an architect, you don't waste space. I want to push this inside to create a space for our dishes and for us to keep some stuff. We want it to be like a louver blade behind a glass, so something like that. So that's what I pictured. Something like a black colored frame, like I said. So I'm just applying a random material which I'm gonna just tone down to black here and give some little reflection. So I want to create a louver blade as tiny as possible. Then rotate that to about 30 degrees, and we need to taper the tip a bit so that at least you get like that louver feel. Then let's scale that a bit. Okay, so I think I'm okay with that now. I'm gonna texture that black as well. Then just use array copy using the division. Can you see here? Division then by 30. So we have that done, and want to give like a lighting touch inside as well. I want it to glow, I want the interior to actually glow some light out. So in order to enhance this, put a plain light that covers almost the entire top of this space, so that I can have the all-encompassing form of lighting that shines out from, it's still showing, I don't want it to be like, I have the upper parts glowing all the way. So I just have to go to options, then check the invisible and change the color, just tweak it to So that's what I did. Then increase the intensity a bit, and so let's see what we have. So we can see, so now I have that. I'm cool with it. Cool with that. So Vray next, the reflection in the reflection parameters, they've added metalness. So with metalness, all you just need to do is just what to tweak it, and then it gives you like a metallic feel of the surface. So Vray next is really worth having, and very nice. It's very nice. It can save you a lot of headache, you know. So I got this model as well, and it's our sink for the island. So now we have it there. Well, there's something missing. We need to actually cut the space. It's, you know, it needs to sit inside this whole volume. So we have to just so I'm demarcating with a red rectangle tool, and then pushing till I cannot see that surface again, then hide the rest of the surfaces behind the edges of our sink, and bam, we have it. We have our sink sitting right on top of our highland. So this is just beautiful, and you know, without stress. So guys, I'm just gonna leave you with the rest of the model. You know, the rest of this is just me bringing in components and editing material, and the video speed is actually fair enough, so you can follow every step of what is being done here. It's gonna be helpful a lot. So let's just follow through as the rest of this video unfolds. Thank you.